Okay, we've got the camera in here. Now, first part of our job is to check the oil leak that's coming out from in front of your PDO lever here. Now, this is your PDO engagement lever. You can barely see that. This gear stick here is the 1, 2, 3, 4. This gear stick on the left as you sit on the seat, that's your high, low, reverse. And up on the dash you have a hydraulic high, low. So all we've done here, we've undone the 4 bolts that hold this plate on. Now, on a John Deere, it's important to keep these rubber boots here in good order. Now, water in a John Deere transmission, well, water in any transmission is no good, but water in a transmission on a John Deere or a tractor with a clutch pack or wet disc brakes is just terrible. So we need to pull that out, pop that down the side. And we have a bit of a mess in here, which I'll take a minute and I'll blow that clean with the air nozzle. And the leak coming from here, it's either coming out the bottom of the steering column or there's a little plug in this top shift cover here. So I'll turn everything off. We have a plug here. Now this plug that goes back onto your lift cover, that's your safety start. So while the tractor's in neutral or in park, in the case of these tractors, you will get continuity through this switch. When it's in gear, you won't. There'll be no continuity here at all. So that's an important thing to have on your tractor. This little fella here, that's your rate of drop for your hydraulics. So a thing with these tractors, and I get the phone calls now and then about it, and they say my tractor was running good and all of a sudden the hydraulics stay up. Well, there's a couple of causes for that. It can be the lever drops off the cam at the back end there, but look, I've had people bump this with their foot, and if you actually turn this right in as hard as it'll go, it seals a ball down onto a seat inside, and those arms will not go down. So look, if you do have that problem, just check this. This fella can come right out and you can see a little ball down inside that sits on that seat there. So it's got a rubber seal around it there, so to keep any moisture and that out, but this tractor doesn't get out in the wet at all. So look, I'll turn off, I'll get the air, I'll clean up all around here, because when we split the tractor or when we do hydraulic testing or that, we don't want any of this shit to get into the road. So I'll come back in a little bit. Okay, we've changed things, we've blown all clean around here. There's a couple of things I'd probably like to point out. Now, to test the pressure of the low pressure system in your tractor, there's a low and a high pressure in here. We're not going to test this at the moment, this works fine. But this is the bung there. You pull that out, you pop a gauge in, it's good for reading around 120 pounds per square inch, and you're away to go there. Now, with the leak that we had running down the side here, there can be a couple of things. Now, this line here, that's your leak off line from your hydraulic pump. Now, these have a 23cc per revolution pump, and they have a needle bearing, a main seal, and then a dirt seal. Now, if oil gets past the front seal, or the main pressure seal, it bleeds from the little groove in the pump up to a reservoir up the front, but then the return comes back to the transmission through here. Now, it's not uncommon, being a poly line, it's not uncommon for these to actually get a split in them, and same under the front pump. Now, under the front pump, not all leaks up under there are the hydraulic pump. It can be this line back under the front, and it can be leaking from there. But for the moment, we're going to undo this safety start line out of the way. Now, on this other side here, you can see that lever there, that is our high-low, that's our hydraulic high-low. So it has a little E-clip on it, which I might be able to pop off with my fingers if I'm lucky. No, it's a bit too tight. No, there it is, got him. And so there's a little washer there that gets stuck in the groove, so take that out. And that releases that. So the safety start switch wire I always bring around and poke it in behind the breather. Now, so that's loose there. This line here, sometimes they pull off, sometimes we need to get a screwdriver. So I have a screwdriver here, I'll see if we can just lever that off. On the later tractors they actually have sensors here, but we don't have that on these tractors. And sometimes when these used to crack, to stop them from cracking, we would actually, see, this has got plenty of length, we can probably shorten it, and we'd probably try and put a little fuel hose clamp around there to hold it on and support it. So at this stage we don't need to do that. We can undo these two long bolts here. Put them over there with the others. And this housing here, that now comes off. So that's your PTO engagement housing. So this is your high-low, this fella here, and the other one's your PTO. Now, your PTO housing, they have little ball bearings in here. If you move the lever, they go click and you have a problem. Don't do that if you don't need to. Try and sit that away in one piece. And in here you have your hydraulic control valves. Now, these little valves, these little bolts here, the ones with a 1/2 inch spanner fitting them, don't undo them. There's no need at this stage to undo them at all. But there's 3 bolts at the back here. Now, they're flange headed bolts. So I'll show you what I'm saying. So the 3 at the back have a flanged head like that. So once we take them out, this top cover now should come off. Now, it will come loose here. Now, on this side, there's a couple of pipes sticking up, and then in the middle here, there's a couple of pipes sticking up. So I'll come round your way there, on your side of the tractor. And we'll hang on to the top of the gear stick here, and we can just, you feel tension there. And you can see it wants to spring back on its own. That's these pipes. Just bring it up gently. I might pan out a little bit for this, I believe, just so we can fit everything into the frame, hopefully. And here you have underneath the control valve, now the 2 pipes sticking up here. That's coming from your tranny pump, so it comes from your strainer up to the tranny pump, through the filter and up through. So this hasn't been off for a long time. And we've just found the problem of the leak. This plug here should be sitting in that hole there. It's like a Welsh plug, so that should be sitting in there. So that's why that came out the other day for some reason while we were slashing, and I noticed when the tractor was downhill it made more of a mess. So we could just glue that back in, tidy all this up, wash him up and glue him back in, but we're not going to do that, eh? We're going to get a bit serious. Now these pipes here, they're one of them puts pressure from here, it comes into the top cover, it puts pressure into your PTO clutch. one of them puts pressure into your PDO brake, one of them puts pressure onto your high-low, and this fella here looks like it's been lined up wrong at some stage. So we'll have a look in there. I'll try and get you a look straight down the spout there. I'll come around the other way. Okay, that's a bit hard to see. That spring there is not really correct. Someone's done a bit of a bodge up on that. That should sit across in that groove better. But look, that's okay. The reason, apart from finding that leak, which we've found already, to split this tractor, there's 2 sneaky bolts hidden in the back here, and a 3/4 spanner fits them. So we're actually, when we come back around here, we're actually splitting the tractor behind the gear stick, so we're splitting it in here. But it's good to find that leak though, isn't it? I'm quite pleased with that. I'll get a bit of rag and we'll wipe this up, but okay, we'll get ready for the next part and we'll go from there.